Want to see behind the scenes of a flower shoot? Or how about color correction? Getting those bright reds, the right color. Or maybe you want to check out the Camranger and what it does for you behind the scenes. You can do all of this with just a teeny little part of our Macro Photography Live chat show. So come on in and I'll show you a little bit of behind the scenes of what we do on this show. So these are very short, teeny little pieces of the Macro Chat Live show. So before we get started, hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I share goodies every Thursday. Don't forget to hit that bell so you're notified every single time that I load up a new video for you. So let's get to it. So let's just show you some of the images that I played with. I did have to stack my work because I wanted to have this in focus here and this in focus. And here's what I ended up with. When I played with it in Photoshop with some basic punching it around, I actually took it in a luminar flex in Photoshop. So here's what I changed in luminar flex. And I kind of did a little bit of, you could see some of them was a little dark to me, some of the petals, so I just kind of brightened them up. You can see here, I messed with these just to give it more dimension. And then the brilliance and warmth, I toned this down. So look at this. So look at the flower. Here's before. It's a little warm here, which is nice, but then I wanted it just a little bit more of the cool side. I added a fill layer. So I went to layer and I went to new fill layer with the solid color, and I took the black over here, you could see to the right, and I filled it in and I made a mask. Yes, reds are difficult. What a perfect time to talk about red and roses and deep colors, because it's Valentine's Day. We got to play with this. This is a common problem when it comes to macro photography. The main thing that I want to share with you is over here to this side is the actual image through Camranger. This right here is straight. When I shoot from here, it goes to Lightroom. You can see a lot of different things happening. The reds are turning pink, and it's just not turning out very nice. And it's because the sensor is sucking in all of the red light rays that are coming in, that's bouncing from this. So let me show you what I do, and hopefully it will help you. So what I like to do first, I like to get my stuff in camera. Okay, what I'm gonna do is take a whiteboard and place it in front of the subject, and I'm going to take a photograph of it, and I'm going to go to my menu. Right now it's under auto white balance, but I want to put it under custom white balance. I'm going to put it under custom white balance, and this is the image that I'm going to set. So I'm going to push set. It's telling me that I need to make sure this is what I want the white balance to be. I need to set it to this little dial. This, which is custom, and I'm good to go. So okay, we're set. So as I'm looking at the histogram, one thing that I am noticing is that the R red is perfect, green and blue is very, very low. That's okay. We'll go ahead and try to get this up in the middle, and then I'll share with you what is happening. So let's move this. And we're going to, you can see here at the bottom that it's underexposed by 2 stops. And I'll go ahead and I'll leave it at F11, and I'll bump it up the 2 stops, and we'll take the shot now. So the histogram has moved the green and the blues up, but look at your reds. See how it's pointing all the way to the right? You can see that it's pointing all the way to the right. Please don't pay attention to this histogram. We are paying attention to the RGB histogram when we do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. This is way blown out of proportion. This may be very dark, but look at how nice that is. So we have to play with this in an even tone. And what I want to do now is I'm going to change it. Instead of going to 2 stops, I'll go down 1 stop, and let's see if I can get a little bit more detail in the darker areas. And I am. Now let's show you it. We'll get rid of, so you can see that it's still kind of clipping to the right, so this might be some problems in here, but we might be able to bring this down and increase the shadows is what I'm thinking. So, but let's show you. I have a little bit more details in the shadow area. It is a little, it's starting to clip, I can see it. That means it's getting there's too much saturation in that color. So there's a couple ways that you could fix it. You could light it with a different gel, which is a little bit more complicated. A lot of people don't like to do that, but you can. So another thing you could do is you could play with black to tone down the light hitting the subject, see? So that really makes a big difference. So I'm taking some of the black paper and just giving it some shadow where I feel like the rich color is just going to be too much compared to the rest of the reds. So this happens with, like I said, very rich colors. It's not just red. But these are different ways for you guys to play with this. And I think this is probably, let me see, it's popping up in Lightroom right now. Yeah, I'm loving it because it has some depth. Okay, another way that I will work with color issues is in Kelvin. So I have the rose here, I've got some light. I figured it would be better just to show you in Photoshop the Kelvin. It's just so you could see it straight up in your face. So when we go over here to the right where it says 5000, this is straight from camera. I haven't done anything with this image. Of course, this also depends on what kind of lighting you have initially on the flower itself. That will depend on what type of Kelvin you would like to use. But you can usually fix your color issues by changing the Kelvin in the camera. So you can see the difference. This is 5000 and this is 2950 in your camera settings under the Kelvin. So as you get lower in the Kelvin, the image becomes bluer. But if your light source is very orange and has an orange cast on the flower, it will really help you. All right, let's get back to the program. So we're in Camranger, and you can see that here is my camera, and it tells you your batteries over here to the left. And over here is actually live. I'm on my live view. If I turn this off, then it is not live. Right now, this is what my camera's showing. So let me just go up here to the top. So if I want to focus on something, then there we go. I just clicked right there. If you're on a phone or an iPad, then you just use your finger and click on what you want focused. Now, a lot of times with this macro, just like if we were to use our lens, we have to manually focus. So unfortunately, when you have to manual focus, you would have to turn this off down here. This is the actual where we could see the view. So a lot of times, to tell you the truth, what I do is I will have a general setup and then I will actually move manually my focus. But it's still so much better to see your composition here. I have photo stacked using the Camranger, and it does have a depth of view preview, but I believe it's only for Canon.
I'm not sure on that one. They have a new Camranger. It's black. I'll share it down in the links below after the show. And you can check that out because I know they have improved the Camranger. Mine is a little older. Once you get what you like and you put the steps here, and then you go ahead and push start, and it will start performing the focus stack. There is a timer, so if you want to actually have, which I have used again too, which is really cool, want to take images of various stages, say of the flower or whatever you have, or you want to take this out in camping and do some time lapse, this is really good. So you can tell it over here, the time lapse. So if you want to do something like that, I know it's a macro show, but I still want to share with you what you could do. You can also do HDR shots, which is really cool. And I have done HDR shots with my macro. Matter of fact, I do that all the time. Down here at the bottom, I can change my f-stop, my shutter speed, my ISO. I can change the way it's reading. It's just like if I'm shooting raw. Say if I want to change that, it does everything for you. So it's really, really cool. Let me change my mode out of manual. Let's go. Let me just say something real quick. So I was in manual mode. Fortunately, when I'm on my computer in manual mode, I would not be able to use this. And this is basically what's really cool about this is even if you're an AV and you shoot and say that it's just too bright and you want to play with this, you can click here at the bottom and you could see here, let me see, this is basically where we were, and say it's too bright because it's reading the image the way, Coco stop, it's not reading the image properly. All you have to do is just click over here and decrease the exposure. You could see that it's decreasing it, and then capture it, and you'll see that it's going to be darker. See how it's darker? It's really, really cool to be able to see your composition. You can actually play with everything here. So it's exposure, time lapse. I mean, I could just keep going. And they're not paying me to market this, just so you know. Okay, let's get back to the show.
So come on and join us. The macro show is every other Thursday. You'll have a blast and learn so much, and also be inspired while you're chatting with other photographers who love macro, close-up, and micro photography. It's time for you to really dive into the Macro Chat live show. Grab a snack, some water, tea, wine, and enjoy the show. Always remember that your 1,000 words does make a difference. Have a great day. Cheers.